Yeah, this is our first big plantation that we've done down each side of the driveway. We've got a variety of trees here. Some have been successful, others are not successful because they're not edible trees, and the idea of planting here for me is to plant trees that I can coppice for koalas in care to eat. So a good indication of whether it's going to be edible for a koala is if you see a lot of leaf eaters and bugs that have eaten all the leaves, you know that that's going to be a good koala tree in general. Trees that haven't been touched, like these ones over here, they're not edible for koalas, and I have picked the centre out of some of these big trees and they are not edible. You can see these are being completely stripped by insects, but if I come along at some time and take a pinch out of that and offer it to a baby koala, it's going to eat that. I think people need to do a little bit more investigation as to the purpose of why they're planting. Well, most of them come with a label on what species that tree is, when we know that it is a good food tree. You can always come along and take them off when you're confident that you've got the right tree and it's going to be a good one. There's 3 particular species that I like to plant, and that's Pteridoccornis, which is Queensland blue, gumtop box, Eucalyptus mollicana, and also I like to plant river red gum, which is Eucalyptus commendalensis. I go to Leyburn to get the commendalensis, I go to Cresbrook to get the gumtop box and the blue gum down in Esk. And the reason I have to drive those distances is because I have a lot of koalas in care and I need to be sure that I'm going to get the right species in one spot and not have to be roadside picking and using a lot of time and fuel in doing that. So for me, pick species that are well known for animals to eat in care. I do have a few other species that I think that I'm going to grow at the moment. Eucalyptus dunnii, because it has a great smell. I've trialled it on a few of the little eucalyptus just straight from the top of the seedlings, and they've eaten that. So that will be number 4 for me. Really, it's specific to where you're going to get these koalas from, but those 3 that I mentioned, I find that every koala will eat that, doesn't matter where they come from. Poplar box, yeah, it's limited to animals that live out in that western region. So around Oakey, Pittsworth, areas like that where that's the only thing that grows really well out there, on those soils, those koalas are adapted to that. I've had koalas in care from out there and it's the last thing they'll eat when they're in care. They'll eat everything else first and then they'll eat the poplarnia. Yeah, so if I was looking to plant trees for fodder for koalas, I'd canvass the local carers and find out what species they use in that area, what species they pick from the local area. It's what those people hands-on the ground are doing, feeding those koalas. They know which is the best thing to eat, and it will vary from region to region because koalas need to feed the food that they're adapted to. After you've planted the fodder trees and they're getting a good height, they're actually getting a nice girth, and you cut this for food, you need to know that that's going to be an edible food. You know, this is slow growing, but it is a good fodder tree. You can tell the bugs have completely consumed this 3-4 times in its growth now. But this will be another 12 months or so before we'll even be able to cut anything off this because it doesn't have a good girth on the tree. It's so that they can send out a lot more shoots. So these trees here are a good width apart. They're about 2 to 3 metres apart from each other. So that allows for all these trees, when they are coppiced, to spread out but still be easy for people to pick up off the ground when they do it. So the message to people wanting to plant fodder trees for koalas in care is get to know your carer, where they are, where they're travelling from, what species they need, how many koalas they're likely to care for, how much you need to plant to provide. You also need to be able to communicate well to make sure that you can inform them when it's not suitable. So the best thing that you can do is plant a really nice plantation with lots of good fodder trees. It's a wonderful thing to turn up on someone's property and know that you're going to be able to cut enough for the day or for the next 2 days. And you can make it so easy for them and for the koalas that they feed. So this is a couple of my little kindy koalas. Came in as tiny babies actually. This little one over here, this is Ruby. Ruby was brought in by a dog, or picked up by a dog. So she was only 740 grams when I got her. And fortunately the dog actually was a retriever and retrieved her from under a log. So she would not be here otherwise. So she's from a Toowoomba region. And then we have in here we have a little opal. And opal doesn't like people at all, which is good for a koala, not to want to be around humans. Opal's about 12 months old now. She was very tiny, only 645 grams when she came in, and she'd been alone without her mother for quite some time. So she was actually 27 metres up a tree, and we did have to get the cherry picker to get her down. Oh, she has a great future. She doesn't like people, she eats well, she climbs really, really well. And yeah, she will go back out probably in about another 6 months, at the end of winter. Yeah. This is what's left of Commendulensis, so you can see she really loves this. This is gumtop box, which was just picked yesterday, and it's quite a wide waxy leaf, so she'll eat that. She has been eating quite a bit. She's been over here eating gumtop box, and we've only got the 2 species in here at the moment. She had blue gum in here yesterday, but it was a little bit too far gone, but we've still got blue gum in this one, so this one's still got 3 species. So she's eating a little bit of Commendulensis, and in the back here she's got blue gum around the back here, which she does like, and she's got gumtop box, and you can see she's been over here having a bit of an eat. This is blue gum up here, just about finished that. Obviously she doesn't like that one, she hasn't touched it, but she's eaten the blue gum underneath. So this is little cinnabar, and I don't handle my koalas. I actually give them a mummy to hang on to pick them up, and then I sit them in another little pouch, because the less they have human hands on them, the better. See, he's been in overnight, and he's just stripped all the top off that gumtop box. So this is cinnabar.